All right, everybody, how we doing today? Let's get it for Tuesday. Thank you. A lot to get into. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Thank you. Absolutely. A lot to cover today. I think the obvious markets, the gold, the crude oil, major markets. It's a little delayed today for obvious reasons, but let's get to it. Oh, is that Discord popping through? Oh man, hold on. Let me just take that off. Um, Hold on. I think I had that Discord on. Okay, thanks for letting me know about that. Sound okay otherwise, folks? Just let me know. Now, let's start really quick. I'm showing you the Bitcoin chart, and really not much here. It seems kind of scary at the moment, but let's come back to this in a second and deal with crypto after we look at the major markets. I think it's positive, really positive. So it just needs time. Let's jump over to the critical markets of the day. Crude oil, gold, commodities. This is the move, folks. I'm going to say it, okay? I knew that we were headed for trouble on the markets for crude oil a year ago. The fundamentals just weren't going to be able to be sustained with the policy changes that were initiated. So many of you know, for crude oil, my targets were, for a long time, 80, 70, 80, and then 122 with the all-time 886, 125. And we're there. Now, what I want to talk about today is how do we act when we hit the numbers? That's indicative of what we can look forward to beyond that important completion point. We hit this 886, but tell me what it's doing. Monthly, weekly, daily. Here's the daily, folks. And I do want to show this quickly with pointing out the exact 886 level, which is right here, 125 on the continuous. And that's probably the prime market for crude oil that I will be looking at. And interestingly enough, we did get slightly rejected yesterday. We hit that all-time 886 and came back, but really nothing. Why? Because we have this dynamic. And I talked about this yesterday. Again, this will save you time and time again. Tell me what's going on with indicator confirmation at the critical levels. For amplified RSI, we talked about this yesterday, that at a minimum, it could be a complex structure. But this now, with today's move, goes back into the overbought zone, expanding, registering new levels, new all-time levels, actually, for most recent last few years. You have to go back. This might be all-time levels on the daily. Taking out critical prior extreme inflection points there and there. This is significant. That's where we can gauge the possibility for a larger extension. As long as that thing floats up into the overbought zone, which it's doing, okay, count on this thing to do a serial breakout. What's a serial breakout? It is a bar over bar continuation within the primary trend. Higher highs, higher lows on the daily for a while. This is going to take some time to pivot out, and it's probably going to be a complex structure that then comes down after more continuation. I think it's targeting all-time highs. I think you're looking at 147 on this move to be tested. Certainly before the end of the month, and maybe something gets crazy. It's crazy. This is harkens back to basically the early 2000s. We had a major breakout, and talked about this yesterday with Iraq War 2, but this is bigger. This price action, the significance of what's going on here, hasn't even broken out to all-time highs yet, which is interesting. I think we're early. We're not late. We're early in this move. That's what the signals, the strength of the breakout, is all dictating. Here are a few instruments to look at for crude oil as like a secondary market. Look at USO ETF. Again, just expanding in the same way that the spot price is. USO has a long way to go. It's incredible. This was a garbage ETF up until about 2-3 months ago. Go to the weekly or monthly. Just that's remarkable. Look at this deep crab. Now remember, we talked about USO last week of the fact that just another oil market with a massive weekly pattern behind it. So until we get to at least target 2, which we just hit today, or actually we need to register an HSI signal at this point. There's nothing stopping this until we register an HSI signal. With HSI overbought and now expanding back into the zone, you probably run up to the 886 off the pattern. Use the whole pattern, high to low. That's your zone. That's definitely a very likely and logical way to be looking at those moves that blow through the targets. Check it out. We just hit target 2 at 60 and change. That was the very end of December. And now you go up, you do basically half the move in a third of the time or less. This is where acceleration goes, and until another serial breakout, until this thing rolls over, it has a lot of strength behind it. So I absolutely am just going to reiterate the fact that we're now seeing the larger development from these long-term patterns that now look extremely impressive. Not easy to spot that in advance, but with this behind the price action, basically the correction from 2017 from here all the way back down to the low 2020 was a massive consolidation buildup for a launch pad for this thing to just rocket. Really quick, before I get much further, let me bring up our risk disclaimer. Thank you. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Also, really quick, folks, I didn't spend too much time on it. Get over to Harmonic Trader, please, and become a basic member. If this ever pops up, the resources for free are available, including access to the trials. I think I got too many programs open. The final point I wanted to just highlight for today, just a little business thing item. For those that didn't get the update, or a few of you have not registered, you haven't been able to update the new update for TradingView. Folks, what you need to do quickly is just sign out, okay, and then sign back in. And your indicators, your old indicators will probably be red here, and then just load the new HPC combo. That's our most recent updated for PineScript 5. Okay, that's out of the way. Awesome, thank you. Now, Let's go between TradingView, and this is the eSignal platform. And this is where we were featuring many of the big patterns. You go back over a year ago or more, we've been talking about this. How about ExxonMobil? This is absolutely accelerating. This will blow out, break out to all-time new highs. And ExxonMobil, we've been in front of that since like 40. It was more about there's a monthly and even longer term quarterly stuff that was down there at 35, 40 bucks. Folks, here's the thing that I've been counting on for a while was this larger 886. And with the breakout today and really the past few months have just been demonstrative straight on through every major retracement that we've been considering, a 382. We've been right there at the low off of this thing, and now it's just getting going. The one possibility, okay, if you wanted to connect dots, you might be able to say that, oh, well, what about a potential head and shoulders? Could it be a head and shoulders where then we come up and then this is a total fake out? This is going to end tomorrow, what have you. Highly unlikely. And again, we want to see what happens at 97.66 on this move. I think we simply are going to destroy the all-time high and continue to go in an entirely new cycle. And this is something I talked about yesterday where with this breakout, and it can be any of the major oil integrateds, spot price markets, you are just targeting 1618 breakouts. The absolute acceleration, okay, that we're seeing here is unique. We, pile together the geopolitical, obvious, unprecedented things that are happening. What we're seeing here is oil play catch up. Oil was lagging behind for probably artificially depressed, especially in that last shakeout, for years. Probably should have been trading at an average price of 70 or 80 a barrel most of last decade, and was trading around 50. So be aware of the fact that we are just getting started. These oil stocks, the oil sector, we're going to get a pause, pullback, but along the way, but this is a breakout and impressive at that. I'll get to a couple questions in a moment. I do want to get to gold because these are doing things, big things. Gold, folks. Okay, weekly chart. Trying to flash a crab pattern, which is just this 1618. But again, we don't really regard a pattern as an opportunity until terminal bar completes. And so you're not doing anything. If you saw that as a pending pattern or potential pattern, or even if you were tracing out manually by hand, which a lot of people do, and I think one of the problems, a lot of new traders to harmonic patterns, what they will do is they'll say, oh, that's a deep crab. And let me just execute right at the 1618. But that's not how it works. And with the type of strength we see, today gold's up 60 something today, hitting the major numbers, all-time 886, everything in dramatic fashion, you have to regard that as strength. And even in a bearish case, if even if this did give you some kind of consolidation or pullback, it's not until we register an overbought trigger or even hit the hop at 2172. Check out your indicators on the weekly continuous gold contract, breaking out to new all-time highs on your amplified readings. Take a look, amplified RSI, going all the way back a few years here. You keep expanding higher. HSI hits the overbought but is expanding. Major stuff for this gold market. Finally, we have been talking about gold 1720 since, I don't know, last summer. And it just took a long time to be realized. There was your bat pattern from, it was last May actually, but the type 2 completion that we saw here was a little tricky. It had a really nice reaction move into the midsummer. Then you came back to the 886 and you had a big shakeout, but you did get a secondary, tertiary retest. And again, I was been saying that that's okay. It was an extended type 2, and it still is. Now with the type 2, we know that 1946 was first target. This target 2 off of the reversal right there, but that's a minimum. And it's blown out. And look, until we have a couple of larger patterns or another HSI, because HSI now is in the wrong place. HSI is coming off the 50. Looks like it wants to come back. It's in a powerful spot. This is when all of it's going to run, folks. The gold move that people have been looking for, or maybe the follow-through move, is now here. And it just started. Remarkable. Okay. Get into a couple more. DXY, dollar index. Someone was asking for that. Dollar index is an interesting chart as well. Check it out. Massive crab pattern. So looking at this just as a framework, one of the best ways to understand where you are in the framework is just walk through type 1 reaction, okay, and then you ran into an HSI, another retest, and you run into another bullish HSI. Okay, both of those hit target 1. I mean, that qualifies as reactive. Actually, your reaction is here. Your first reaction, that was really tight, was right there. Let me bring up one of the easiest ways is to increase the font size for the terminal bar. The terminal bar is going to show you the exact completion point where the algorithms define the pattern and then break it down from there. There's sun icon. All right, we're going for target 1. You hit target 1 there. We came back, and then all the way down, we would go for target 2 or HSI, which is what you got at around 89. Dollar index is going to do something where it will likely uncouple from traditional market, intermarket relationships where you would think, oh, well, you know, gold, the dollar would have to go down for gold to go up. Same with oil. Well, not if the United States is going to become the largest producer, which is basically is going to happen now. The United States is going to have to ramp up production. It's inevitable. And this will actually create an inverse traditional market relationship. And this will actually, you'll probably see the entire complex of commodities, crude oil, gold, others, traditionally sensitive to a stronger dollar would actually benefit and will be a consequence. The increased dollar activity of crude oil will be actually a consequence for stronger dollar. It's absolutely incredible times. And what we need to do is then piece together the levels. So you know, okay, how far will this go? It's like with the crude oil situation. How far is this craziness going to go? All-time 886 at 125, retest all-time highs at 147. Dollar index probably target the hop up at 106. We're clearly going back for another run at this zone on the monthly. Again, adhere to the levels. Walk yourself through the framework so you know where you are. That's what we've been doing to nail this crude oil move, the gold move. Again, just connecting dots, explaining where we are in the framework, and then positioning ourselves level to level. Heating oil, yeah, I'll go look at heating oil really quick because I used to be on that floor. Here's heating oil, monthly. Woof. Wow. Look at that chart. Heating oil, folks. I know I mentioned this long ago. We haven't looked at heating oil in a while. This is how we know we are in unprecedented times. I haven't seen it. I haven't seen stuff like this where you go heating oil. Are you kidding me? You go to 58 cents a contract at the low to 443. Now, yes, we are in the midst of a parabolic run, but you had major patterns. Look at the patterns behind this. That's part of the reason why I'm confident and have been confident that this next crude oil run would be a biggie. Type 1, bang, on the shark. Type 2, and now where do we go? We just continue until you either register an HSI or form some kind of bearish setup. It's absolutely insane. And we could double from here, folks. Yeah, Dalton, nickel. Yeah, they froze nickel. They froze nickel. Limit up. Get ready, folks. You're going to hear the word limit up a lot more. Okay, limit up. Become familiar with that term. Commodities are doing stuff it hasn't done since the 70s. I mean, that's just insane. We've seen that also. We've seen it across the board, except for nat gas. But folks, nat gas is just a matter of time before it follows all of this stuff. It's probably the one lagging market isn't there yet, but it will. And we actually started with nat gas over a year ago. I was pounding the table on nat gas, on crude oil. Maybe pull up UNG. You want a slower, an easier kind of vehicle, check out UNG. Yeah, a whole bunch of patterns down at what, 13? That's a type 2. It's kind of tough to see that because this thing trades so sketchy, but I would be targeting 1872 minimum, and I think nat gas is going to continue like the rest of them. I mean, here's XLE, energy ETF. I mean, this is going to go into price discovery, all-time new highs. And this is not, it is a blow-off top, I will say that, or it's a blow-off breakout, but it's not an exhaustive top or anything like that. This is strength. This is massive catch-up. And I would say XLE, probably you go back, retest 99, 95 area. We've been discussing that for a while. So within the framework of the patterns that needed to be retested, there's your monthly XLE. I mean, that's a beautiful chart. Your massive patterns that are on the chart, obvious folks, are in this area. And if even we wanted to be conservative, 85 range, but all of this has to go back. It's going to retest the all-time highs, if not take them out. Oh, there's one. UEC? Sure. I saw that one. That's probably the one I didn't. What did that do? Yeah, 488. That's uranium energy. Yeah, these are speculative ones. That's one of the ones we mentioned before. Here's PLG. This is a speculative play we mentioned before where massive patterns there you go, daily, a Gartley here. And there's a zillion. I mean, you don't have to just do the ones I'm pulling up. But look at this weekly on PLG, folks. Massive patterns here. Massive. One or two more. Of course, Marathon. I've been just one of the go-to energy plays. We have been targeting this for a full retest back at up here around 28. We talked about this on yesterday and last week and last year. 28.61 is our target. Stay with it. Absolutely. Wheat, silver, I mean, they're all moving. And what's happening is a lot of these guys got blown out. A couple of major companies, even on people got margin called on coal positions. On coal. Coal 3 years ago, you know, you were kind of a bad person if you owned coal or even talked about coal. Now coal's the rage. Here's silver, folks. Once silver cracks above 30, forget it. It goes all-time new highs. I personally think it's already started because this crack above just this breakout, current breakout into right here, above that level, above that 26 level, that should get going now. And I think silver and a lot of these that seem like they're not doing much are going to start to show you what's possible when you look at nickel or wheat or some of those other charts. Yeah, wheat, wheat ZW. Wasn't that lock limit the other day? Yeah, yesterday that was lock limit. All right, little reaction here, but go to your monthly chart just so you have perspective on what's going on here. There's the monthly. Interestingly, that we are hitting the 886 on wheat all time, folks. Looks like this. And this is an important test across the board. I think I've seen enough charts break out where I'm not too concerned if it just has a pause here, which wheat is doing on the futures. Go like that. It all depends on where we close the week and the month. But the way that we're getting there and the way that it's expanding up to these levels is tricky. I mean, really definitely uh, want to watch how this continues through. If this is going to be something where, okay, massive speculative run needs a little digestion before we try to go higher and make the 886 support where it's resistance at the moment, need to continue to march through. We need to be like this move. You have to go back to like 2007. Essentially this 886. So you had a big cycle move down, and commodities are the definition of cyclical. But that was your big 886. All right, and then and the 2005 run went to the 1618. Off of the 95 to 2000 decline, this was a 1618. Now we have another decline, and we're sitting at the 886 right now in strong fashion. I think we could pause for a few days, but the monthly close, especially above that 886, will trigger the next run, next 1618. That's how it goes. That's what we need to pay attention to. Still quite early in this whole construction phase. But you want to see super cycle inflation, okay, wheat above this 886 because you're going to trigger that larger BAM breakout move, and that's when we get wheat. Your bill at the market is going to double. Your grocery bill is going to double. Your you're going to pay $10 a gallon. You're going to pay $10 a gallon, and then people are going to tell you that's your patriotic duty to do so, while we do not focus on what we need to do here. Folks, I have some experience with the energy industry in the United States, and again, one of the things that I wanted to show One of the companies that I think fundamentally everyone needs to be focused on is Continental Resources. They are the largest energy producer in North America. And I'm looking for the breakout because the breakout will take you much higher. Right at the moment, you're threatening that downtrend. And we've been talking about this for a while, but again, what what Continental does in this area is going to tell you and basically be the confirmation of the entire move. My experience with these guys, and not necessarily Continental directly, but people that work for Continental, pipeline manufacturers, service guys. I was consulting for a company that did a lot of work in North Dakota. This was about 8 years ago. And there is plenty of gas, oil up there that this can be fixed. This can be resolved with companies like Continental Resources. So I don't want to I don't want to chase any of this. But I want people to get this stuff on your radar. The energy breakout, the energy move, as crazy as it's been, is just entering acceleration phase now. So let's keep an eye on it. Okay, pretty clear on energy. You got, folks know my thoughts, but that was the major workup. NQ. What are we going to do? Listen, major markets are trying to test these big levels from October, and NQ tried to fail again. They're coming off the support. All I want people to do is focus on this lower range and know that it's off the October low. The October low needs to have right here, has that critical 1618 at 12,885, and there is a verifiable crab pattern. So not surprised to see this thing screw around here. And it will take some more time if it's going to kind of drip down. Okay, even though today's rally, you're up several hundred off the low. Here's the 5-minute chart. You had a really nice type 2. Check out this type 2 shark. It was perfect type 2 shark this morning. Sold off right down to that 5-minute shark, and then here you go, type 1. Bang, came back for type 2 just as we were starting today's session. And now we actually retested the hop level. Your back-to-back patterns here on the 5-minute. And this might be a nice setup. Look, you're back to that crab at 13,500. Let's keep an eye on this one. For today, folks, for NASDAQ traders, look at the hop right around 13.5. And do we have any confirmation? Almost. So we'll come back to this because in about 3 minutes, maybe 8 minutes, that will confirm. And we want to see this register the arrow first before we consider it actionable. It's like that. And amplified still in the overbought. Needs to come out. Probably on the next candle, not this candle. Quick shout out to the chat. Mitch Ray is in the chat. Mitch, we're on for Thursday. How's it going, man? Definitely. As I told you, Thursday or the time the first one drops. Awesome. Maybe double shot. We'll come here and then go there at night. Some beers. Couple more. Alec is saying, I need to write a book. No more books. I can't write it. No more books. I need to write a book about my background before I leave this earth. You always mention pieces of your past that are super interesting. I don't know. I mean, I'm so burned out on writing books, folks. Maybe. You know what? I will say this. I have found myself in many interesting situations with people who are just normal people. And then they went on to do things, big things. And it's real interesting stuff. And okay, here's a great example. Maybe Alec, I'll think about that. Maybe somewhere down the line. But you never know who you're going to meet, or you never know who is going to do what. And so here's an interesting tidbit I'll share with everybody. So I went to school. I'm from Philadelphia. I went to school at a place called Penn Charter. Now, went to school, actually rode the bus with a guy, great guy, named Barry Goldberg, who has a TV show called The Goldbergs, named after him. And his little brother created this entire series about Barry Goldberg's time at school. I rode the bus with Barry and his brother Eric, known as Erica in the school. Great guys. Um, Really interesting stuff. I know all the real life people on that show. And so it goes to show you, you never know who's around you, who's in your life. And I could write a lot of different interesting stories. I have a lot of them, but I think, for me, I respect everybody that I run into. People that have similar ideas, like to do the same things. I like to connect with people, and I respect people equally. I mean, it doesn't matter who you are. It's more about what you do, what you're about. And so a lot of these people that I have met that have done amazing things in their life, it's just more about doing the best with your time. Those are the kind of lessons I've learned where, don't take anything for granted. Don't take anybody for granted. I think there's a lot of interesting takeaways. I know in my life where I probably could have, I don't know, maybe been a little more attentive in certain situations, but I do think that a lot of what I personally have learned in my trading and in my life has been really just about respecting people and things. Amazing stuff. But for trading and what we're doing, realize that, your time is important for what we're doing here in this current crazy market environment. There could never be a better time to learn if you're new or to make money if you have skills and you're ready to go. Just because it's a bad environment doesn't mean that it's going to be bad times. You got to make the most of it. So we're here trying to make the most of this current market. Nasdaq, I think we're about to trigger. I'm trying to talk you guys through this next 5-minute bar on Nasdaq because it looks like this is about to reverse. And let me see here. We're up 215. But I'd be triggering 13.5, folks. I think this could be a critical pivot point. All right, let's get back to it. I didn't want to get off subject too much, but I'm trying to watch this Nasdaq 5-minute because this is setting up for a really nice complex structure now where this could come out, but it's still not there. Let's come back to that. I want to look at S&P 500 because I think this is going to be the market that will tell us whether or not all equities fail. Go to the daily. 4110 is the hop level on the shark. And I don't want to see this go under the hop. If anything, I would love to see a beautiful close above 4212, which it looks like we're going to get. And we didn't trigger HSI. That's a unfortunate thing. There's no confirmation here yet. Let's keep an eye on it. I would love to have seen maybe confirmation on this last test, especially because we're coming off this last HSI reading. But 4188 is critical. And I also want to point out the lowest close on all of these candles was there at around 4220. So we have not even closed underneath the zone levels after multiple tests. One test, two tests, three tests, and we're failing to close underneath those levels. So those are key early signs, but I say all bets are off under 4110. Then we'll have to wrestle with much larger retracement levels underneath that low. I just, there's nothing there. You have to, if you're going to be bullish on this market, you cannot go any lower. The final one I wanted to look at, which for the major markets, the Dow, diamonds. Same thing as the S&P. It's a shark in development. Get back here. Where's the shark? I had a shark down here. Maybe the 4 hour. Basically 33,000 on the index, 330 on the ETF. Here it is. It's a 4 hour crab pattern. Beautiful crab pattern, actually. Right here is the December low, and then you had that early thrust into first week of the year. Then a throwdown move, 1618. There's your type 1 reaction. We came back. Now we have retested that terminal bar, almost hit the hop, but again, it's quite clear. You fail here, you fail the year. That's it. You fail here, you fail the year. And we could see this in maybe a week or more. I don't think it has more than a week to go, and it will show you what it's going to do. A 1-day bar, just because we reversed today, isn't that much of a anything to hold your hat on. But I'm going to watch it closely, more for the potential breakdown. It looked like it was going to give us that throwdown until they came and rescued it today. But much like S&P, under 32,200 on the index or 322 on the ETF, you've got nothing but air. That would trigger the larger correction. One or two more. Absolutely. Let's get into crypto. Jump over to crypto. I think we're pretty clear on all of that. And look, crypto, here's the deal. We are at some verifiable levels. You got to go to the 4 hour time frame. But remember this. We came back after, last week's crab. We had a crab and a bat pattern. There's a few things here. We did a type 1 thrust. And then we came back and hit the crab again. 38,200. That's your big level. I was saying yesterday, 36,000 would frighten me. Anything under 36,000 going forward would be a real problem. I also said yesterday, depending where we are 24 hours later, would basically tell me what's going to happen with Bitcoin. Well, we held. We held, and we are trying to firm up at this XA retest level on Bitcoin. That's at 38.5. 38, what's the exact number? The exact number is 38,232. So we do have confirmation as well. I need to see this breakout. I need to see that essentially get above into the 40,000s again. And then we'll be fine if we stayed in a consolidation where we do a type 2 move back to 42.8. But just don't break down. The other thing about this pattern, back-to-back patterns, is we failed to retest the prior bat pattern. We might have one more run back up there, which is at 45.8, 46,000. You're getting squeezed. Absolutely, your lows are getting tighter, and the tops, the resistance, okay, firming up, but this range is going to collapse, and you're going to resolve this either coming up off the low and making some kind of sizable move. You need to see a sizable move to get out of here. Some event driven thing that we know could happen now. If the event driven uh, conditions, geopolitical, whatever, have never been more possible now in this environment. So I'm not, Bitcoin is, I'm surprised. I think if Bitcoin was in serious trouble, we'd be lower now. We'd be a lot lower. So let's be aware of the fact that we're at a two of two. We have held firm. I still need to see this come up higher, but okay, you didn't break down even with everything. And Biden has some kind of announcement coming out at the end of the week on crypto. So maybe that brings clarity. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe that does help the situation. We got to see. Hold on one second. I'm going to check something here. So, 1 second. Oh, good. Okay. Anyway, hold on 1 second, folks. 1 second. One second. Second here. Okay, thanks. Anyway, be mindful of that. Be mindful of other crypto. For example, Luna, which is in a tight position. Here you go. But I think it's ready to come back up. Talked about the type 1 crab yesterday in Luna. It completed the type 1. Amazing. Right to 85. There's your target 1. I would expect Luna to get off of this target at, what was it, 75.43 and begin the retest back to about 90 and change. XA level is 87 or so, but maybe as high as the 95 level. What was the other one? I think we looked at Mana yesterday. And a few of these are sitting perfectly in their type 2 zones. Daily. There you go. No, Mana was 4-hour. Mana is a 4-hour type 2 bat pattern that completed. I mentioned this yesterday, and they have held. They're holding, and I would look for these to come out of the zone. I think these could definitely get a bid now. Where's LRC? Let me go there. That was the other high flyer sitting in a massive zone on the daily. Not 4-hour. Here's the daily. There you go. Big bat pattern on LRC. Beautiful. XA level on LRC is at 77, so not a problem at all. I like it. XRM, you know what? I saw that too. It's funny you mentioned that. XRM is not one we look at too often, but take a look here. Oh, no, XMR. I was looking at XMR. XMR, another, look, daily crab pattern, big butterfly. XMR, that's Monero, is a target 1 at 201. Trading 172 currently. So Monero, beautiful in, delayed reversal or delayed reaction, but it's happening. Let me go to band really quick. Yeah, I'll look at band, and then I want to look at, here's band. The reason why I'm bringing that up, because you have that small, your back-to-back Gartley and this prior crab pattern. Sorry. Yeah, let me change that, because I don't know why that's The color should be popping there. If you want to change the settings for TradingView, folks, just go into the module, scroll down, depending on your background. I say just make it brighter. But you're back to back. Look, deep crab on band. Yeah, this is the kind of thing where it might take more time as it screws around at these massive retests of support, but you have patterns. You have patterns for sure. We looked at Avalanche yesterday, but let's look at where's AXS? AXI. AXS. There you go. AXI Infinity. AXS. That's on the daily, folks. There's a couple things. There's a bat off of that prior swing. There's a deep crab. All of that's around 46. Amazing. One or two more. Let me go to Ethereum, of course. Oh, we didn't even look at Bitcoin yet. And we looked at Bitcoin. I didn't look at Ethereum. Here's Ethereum on the weekly, and I think that's the only chart you need to look at for Ethereum. Why? Because if Ethereum's going to stay bullish, these lows have to hold. 1, 2, this recent low. But that exact low at 2300 for the entire trend has to hold for Ethereum. I said yesterday it was probably one of the ugliest short-term charts of all crypto. If you can break out above 2600 and hold these lows, then you might have something. Yeah, band is a good one. Band has a lot of patterns, and those are the kind of setups you want to be focusing on at this time. Ethereum, sure, that's one of the big ones. It's still in long-term uptrend, but there's nothing there. I'm going to a 4-hour daily, kind of a Gartley here. Trying to retest that Gartley, but it's real sloppy. I wish Ethereum looked better than it did. Let's go to total crypto market cap. I think this is trying to come off the floor of the bat. There's a few patterns I posted on Twitter last week. Let me see if I find that. Where's that? The last one on Twitter. There you go. Total crypto market cap was coming off of this crab pattern that I posted back on, what was it, 25th. And we did the type 1 correction up to 2, or we need to do the type 1 correction up to 209. We're still at the 170 level. There you go. There you go. So want to come back, get off of that floor, go back to 190, minimum 1.82 trillion. And you're only, I don't know, maybe 2-3 bars away from the breakout above 1.72 trillion. Really important to hold here. This price action from the last, 48 hours. This kind of box right in here. Here with HSI checking back. That's everything. This is why I said yesterday that the next 24 hours would tell me the whole deal on whether or not this was going to fail or this would stabilize. It's stabilizing. If it was really bad, it would have failed. We would be probably down at this hop level, failing this HSI signal. Absolutely be aware of these lows and then this one big candle. So that one big candle, that was a big throwdown move on the entire crypto space yesterday with no continuation. And it was at an HSI checkback point a lot of support. That's why these bars are so critical. And you could, again, continue to move your short term and long term stops up. Because if we break down under these levels, I just think it's you're not gonna do anything but do a washout. And I think it's trying to hold. It's literally a matter of time more than price. Keep an eye on it. Folks, Thursday, we'll be back here at around 11:30. We're going to have Mitch Ray. And I'll probably jump over with Mitch and we're going to do a collective update on everything. I think fluid events, obviously, happening real time. But I want to stick to the levels no matter what. We want to focus on, do we have patterns? This is the first time it's tested. Second time it's tested. What's NASDAQ doing right now? 5-minute chart. Okay. Here you are back at the hop level. No confirmation for this morning or this afternoon. Sorry. We were just looking at that hop level before I jumped over to the other markets, but no confirmation. Look, HSI never came out of the zone. If you showed up to the stream a little late, take a look at our comments as we started, because we were looking for this to come out, and it spent time, more time, probably another 20 minutes, now coming out of the zone. So that's a great example of why we want to look for confirmation on the second retest. You're seeing it there. Complex structure now confirming, which is a lot better. Okay, that's what I want to see. So maybe that will trigger in about, I don't know, probably 5 more minutes. Keep an eye on this. Look, the market's going to move hundreds of points for NASDAQ up and down. Yesterday, it was up 200 and then sold off 400 or 500. So it's 12:50. You got 3 hours left in the session, 3.5 hours. This can be anywhere. I still say the play for NASDAQ is probably the stock, the index to be watching for stocks that has to complete and test this pattern. Has to hit this crab pattern. As I said yesterday, that would be by definition an extreme oversold structural condition, because we had hit the 1618 from the October rally. Basically October to December peak, and then throw it down to a 1618 minimum. That's why I'm still waiting. I'm still would like to see that hit to resolve the whole situation. So until that does, I'm going to treat every move up as a reaction, and you should too. So come on back Thursday, folks. Get with basic membership at Harmonic Trader. Here's where to get all the information for the software. Send your username to that email address. Get with the new updated program, and then the Discord link is right here. So we have a bunch of traders in there, 300 traders right now, almost 1,200 members. That's cool. It's a good group, good tight group. That's how I like it. So join us there. Get any questions, reach out to me, and then come on back Thursday, 11:30, folks. We'll see you then. We'll get into more of the crypto. Bring your other ideas. We'll talk about them then, and we'll have Mitch Ray TA. Thanks again, folks. Until Thursday, go get them and have a great one.